Hey everyone, welcome to episode 1. Thank you so much for joining me as I continue my journey here, checking out first episodes of all kinds of shows across all major streaming platforms. I'm really excited to be here. And before we get started, just want to remind you, don't forget you can click that subscribe button and follow the show, as well as clicking the notification bell so that you can be notified anytime episodes land. My hope for the show is real simple, that as I describe for you various shows, that maybe you'll choose to check one of them out, or maybe one of these episodes has helped you decide to go ahead and watch a particular show. Today, we go to Netflix, where on Netflix you can find a very, very interesting show called Warrior Nun. Warrior Nun has been on my list of shows to watch for quite a while now, and I really was glad to finally get around to watching the first episode of this show. The show was debuted in 2020. It's a fantasy drama. It deals in the supernatural. There's also a term called occult detective show, and it even has superhero elements. It really kind of has it all. It was created by Simon Barry and is based on a comic book series called Warrior Nun Areala. That was done by artist Ben Dunn. It stars Alba Baptista, Toya Turner, Lorena Andrea, and Kristina Tonteri-Young. This show is really something. In fact, the descriptor for the show reads: Warrior Nun revolves around the story of a 19-year-old quadriplegic girl who wakes up in a morgue with a new lease on life and a divine artifact embedded in her back. I mean, gosh, right from the outset, that sounds pretty amazing. The story begins, of course, in episode 1, where we open on a scene of a young girl who is lying dead in a morgue, surrounded by a priest and various nuns. The girl's name is Ava, and she is the narrator of this first episode. A team of nuns, including the last warrior nun, Sister Shannon, who was actually, Sister Shannon was the main character of the comic book series I mentioned earlier, are gathered in a church in the opening moments of this show, after we see the young girl Ava lying dead in the morgue. There is an attack that occurs in the hospital in that opening few minutes, and Sister Shannon soon dies from the wounds she received in a recent battle against armed mercenaries. When the armed mercenaries arrive at the church where they're gathered, the nuns race to take the holy object from Sister Shannon. There's a halo that is embedded in her back, and it's a pretty gruesome sequence where they remove the halo, and there's a fight that ensues. Mercenaries are attacking, and the nurse who removed, or I should say, the nun who removed the halo object from Sister Shannon's back, runs away uh, into the morgue, being chased down, and decides to embed the halo into the dead body of the girl Ava that we saw in the opening scene. Um, as that progresses, the halo, of course, regenerates Ava and brings her back from the dead. I mean, the more I describe the show, the more you can see why I was really, really intrigued by this first episode. Um, of course, we meet a priest, the priest I mentioned earlier. His name is Father Vincent. Uh, After the battle is over, Father Vincent and the nuns that are part of they're called the Order of the Cruciform Sword. We don't know too much about them other than they're warrior nuns, or they're battling nuns that battle evil. They discover that the halo object is missing, and so is the body of the young girl who we saw in the opening scene. Father Vincent finds out who Ava is, searches out for her at the orphanage that she grew up in, and tries to track her down. Ava herself, having been resurrected and now being able to walk, she's no longer a quadriplegic as a result of the halo that's been embedded in her back, explores the city she's in with her newfound mobility. She's able to move around, she's able to walk, dance. We see her traverse through several places that, are places she's never been to before because she was unable to. Within the context of the show, you find out that she was a quadriplegic as a result of an accident that took the life of her mother. And so we're getting bits and pieces of her story in this first episode, as we're seeing her experience her new life, literally, and the new abilities that she has, which include some superhero powers throughout some events that happened within the first episode. Eventually, she comes upon this home where she finds a pool. She jumps into the pool, and at the last second, remember, she can't swim. And so there she is rescued from drowning by a character by the name of JC, who introduces her to his friends. And you come to soon discover that this group of friends are basically squatting at this mansion. And so they start taking Ava around the city to parties and so forth, as she, again, is basically spending this first episode discovering how mobile she is now and all the things she can do as a result of having had this object, this holy relic, you come to find out, placed into her back. Of course, with that comes the threat, right? And so there is a red mist that is uh, arriving here and there throughout the show that only she can see. And as we get to the conclusion of episode 1, a creature called a Tarask, which is a demon from hell, enters the area where she is. It's a church. Actually, the creature is actually looking for the holy relic, and goes back to the church that we were in at the beginning of the episode. And in a very gruesome sequence, basically finds the body of Sister Shannon, who was the nun who died at the very beginning of the episode, and slices her open to try to recover the relic, only to discover that it is gone. And so that really sets us on this path of, like, a fascinating concept, a great first start. The question is, of what I continue this. I did. I definitely continued the show. I watched the first episode earlier today, knowing that I was going to record this review. Next thing I know, I was on episode 3. And so I had to pause episode 3 so I could record this. But yeah, Warrior Nun definitely got my attention, and it's one that I would definitely recommend. And so if you choose to check out Warrior Nun as a result of this episode, leave me a comment in the comment section. If you have seen it, don't spoil it for me. Just let me know what you thought of Warrior Nun overall. I really enjoyed episode 1 of Warrior Nun, and I'm really looking forward to continuing this show as well. There's so many shows now that in just these first 10 episodes of episode 1, I now have to make time to go through. So those are my thoughts on the show Warrior Nun. You don't forget, you can find it on Netflix, and let me know if you end up watching the show as a result of this episode. All right, well, that lands the plane on this one for now. I'm looking forward to continuing to share with you my thoughts on many more shows across all major platforms. If you have a show you'd like me to check out, leave me a comment and let me know, and I'll definitely add it to my list. As I continue to refine this project, I look forward to having you guys tell me what shows you want me to check out. All right. Well, once again, thanks so much. Click that subscription button, click the notification bell. But more importantly, don't ever forget, you're awesome, you're amazing, and the world's a better place because you are in it. I'll see you next time on episode 1.